Welcome to Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. I'm your host, Nancy O'Neill. Each week I speak with local professionals on a wide range of topics, from fitness to finances and from dance to dentistry. We are here to give you tips and advice on how you can live a happy and healthier life no matter what age you may be. Let's start with a little song and dance. Tiana Ramirez is here with her partner, John Lewis, from the Fred Astaire Dance Studios, and they're going to perform for us today. Afterwards, we'll discuss how dancing suits any age level. All you need is a little desire. Here's Tiana and John.
You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. You'd be like heaven to touch. I wanna hold you so much. At long last, love has arrived. I thank God I'm alive. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you. Pardon the way that I stare. There's nothing else to compare. The sight of you leaves me weak. There are no words left to speak. But if you feel like I feel, please let me know that it's real. You're just too good to be true. Can't take my eyes off of you.
That was awesome. Thank you so much, and I hope that inspires everybody to get out there, because I know it inspired me.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
John, let's start with you. How did you get involved with ballroom dancing?
As a high school senior, the ladies in the class decided I should learn how to dance.
Oh, okay.
But it was just a Lindy. So when I came to this town in December of 2012, I'd always been a fan of Fred Astaire and the movies that he was in.
Absolutely.
Fascinated by him. So I looked these folks up and signed up, and I'm now starting my 4th year with the studio.
And what have been some of your most memorable moments since you started dancing, besides dancing with this lovely lady?
You know, that's the first one.
They have some marvelous instructors, so they've been very helpful in being patient and helping me with my mental memory and my muscle memory, which are the 2 ingredients that are most important in dancing. But my highlight was going to the basically Destin area, where I entered into a competition with 3 other studios and came away with a 3-foot-high trophy.
Oh my goodness!
Which surprised me, but the judges made the decision, so I had to accept it, which I was very happy to.
Congratulations.
Yes.
I'm sure you deserved it, because I saw what you could do this morning, so that was wonderful. So Tiana, what would you like to say to John about his experience and what you've seen over the past several years working with him?
Well, it's very interesting because when I started at the Sarasota studio, I originally came from St. Pete. John, and who he was dancing with, his partner Anna at the time, were the first people that I met. They were in my cha-cha group class, and I'm thinking, okay, well, it's my first class, I got to impress, I'm not really quite sure where everybody's level and ability is, and right away he blew me away, you know, honestly, because it just, his balance, his attention span, he was very engaged, he wanted to learn, he wanted to do it correctly, he was having fun while doing it. But watching him progress through, you know, just becoming stronger. I'm going to share, last week he actually fell and hurt his shoulder. And a week later, less than a week later, he was back at dancing, you know, and I'm not saying that's only because of dancing. I do think that he's gotten a lot stronger physically, obviously mentally, because there's a lot going on there too. But to tie in what we were talking about last week, you know, I think a lot of his progression has come from those competitions that he's done.
Sure. The
social aspect. He does showcases, and he's got a little bit of a everything. He's a little bit of everything when it comes to the dancing part. So he likes to participate in our Friday parties, our themes, when we dress up for the days. So
that's
yeah,
it. Get involved.
He's
Stay
a great
involved,
student.
Be active, right? Now, what would both of you, this is a question for both of you, what would you say first, John, about somebody who's been putting this off?
Well, basically, you've got to have, let's say, the courage to realize that you can learn and it can be taught.
Doesn't matter what age you are.
Exactly right. I absolutely, and I've seen that with people that have come in and you question, wow, can they ever learn? And then a year later, they're in a showcase and they're getting a trophy or they're getting some sort of an award because of their proficiency, which I owe both to the teacher and, of course, the student.
Okay, well, yeah, it goes both ways. Absolutely. Yes. And Tiana, what would you like to add to that?
Yeah, just definitely piggyback off of that. It was something that my first instructor told me, and I was so afraid of starting. I have never danced before. I don't know if I'll be good. And she told me, all you need is desire. I said this before, dancing fits every season of life. I truly believe that it's timeless. And whether you start when you're 5 years old or 72 years young, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Because it does fit everybody.
That's
so
great.
As advice, just the hardest part is to get started.
Just get out there and do
Once
it.
you start, it's pretty easy after that.
That's it. Okay, well, you're both proof that that's the case. So thank you so much for being here. Loved it. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Right after the break, Dr. Jenny Wilkins with ageVital Pharmacy is back, so don't go away. HCG diet is associated with dramatic weight loss, up to 2 pounds a day. But the problem? Up until now, no doctor could explain how it worked. Here to discuss the secrets to healthy weight loss with HCG injections is Dr. Jenny Wilkins with ageVital Pharmacy. Everybody wants to know, how can I lose weight? It doesn't matter what age you are. I think it's that 5, that's 10, or 50 pounds. Everybody is always looking for, what can I do? So what is HCG? I've actually never heard of this.
Oh, that is so great, because this is my favorite protocol. And I actually wrote a book called the HCG Matrix. The original protocol was written by Dr. Simeon. It's called Pounds and Inches, because this is the doctor that did all his research out in Africa and was trying to figure out how can some of these women that lived in third and fourth world countries and looked emaciated have perfectly plump, delicious babies, right? But they were so skinny. He discovered that they were storing visceral fat, where the body stored a specific type of fat in the arteries, in the intestines, then the body then fed, the baby while they were pregnant. So then he's like, now some people here, especially in America, my gosh, this is land of overeating and buffets and fast food and hustle and bustle, and the food is just delicious and it's really bad for you, right? Who doesn't want fried chicken or General Tso
French fries.
You're combining, French fries and burgers. And, oh, it's so good. So the HCG, this is how I lose all my weight, Nancy. I have 4 kids and they're all under 11, and everyone's like, how can you look like that? I was like, you want my secret? Follow my protocol. So it's super simple. This requires a script and the supervision of a doctor. So we will work with the patient's doctors and, actually, supervise them for the doctors.
Now, is this for everyone? Like
everybody can do it.
5 pounds, 10
women.
pounds. I mean,
they want to lose 10 pounds. They want to lose 60 pounds.
Okay.
The protocol lasts anywhere from 23 days to 60 days, and you lose within the first 2 weeks. I mean, my husband's just getting off of it. 45 pounds in 23 days.
Oh my gosh.
Because he got pregnant with me. Only he never gave birth to a baby. I did, and then here I am,
right?
3 years postpartum, and I lost all the weight. And he's like, oh my gosh, I still have the 45 pounds I gained when I was pregnant with you.
Exactly.
So when they write the script, you're getting the actual HCG, and then you're getting the water. So this is the actual hormone. It's a hormone. It's a pregnancy hormone. And what you're doing is you're giving a small amount of that, 12 IUs to 13 IUs of this, and you're doing an injection every single morning. Everybody has HCG naturally in our body already. We have what's called endogenous HCG. But when you're pregnant, this is what makes the women glow. And their hair.
Look.
That's why they look so beautiful when you're pregnant. You remember your fingernails grow really fast, your hair grows really fast, because it allows you to absorb all those nutrients that you're taking to feed this human being that's growing in your body. So you're taking a small amount. You're taking 12 IUs. When you're pregnant, you're producing about over 1 million IU. So you're taking a very small amount. But what that does, Nancy, is it tells your body to turn off your good fat metabolism and turn on the bad fat metabolism. So it's not an actual weight loss supplement, but it gives the body the opportunity to dispose all of the bad fat that causes the high cholesterol, the diabetes that causes the obesity
So this
gene
will
to kick
help
in.
with your high cholesterol.
High cholesterol, right. Oh, I've had people that have had triglycerides, 400 and above, and within just a few days, their triglycerides drop to 200, 150. Their LDL goes lower, the HDL goes higher. It's a beautiful thing, and it gets them even off of their Humulin, the insulin syringes, especially if you're a diabetic type 2. It's all dietary. When you're talking about diabetes, it's dietary. So you have to get rid of all of that toxic fat that's causing you to feel sluggish and run down. And you lose 1 to 2 pounds a day. Imagine waking up every single morning and you're 2 pounds lighter, 3 pounds lighter, and every day you're measuring your waist and you're like, I lost 3 inches overnight, I lost 2 pounds overnight, and then by day 15 you're 20 pounds lighter and you're 30 inches.
I dream about things like that, but
and you're losing
actually
all the bad fat. You're not losing the good fat.
So it works with your metabolism? Is that what
boosting your metabolism. It's speeding your metabolism up, but you're getting rid of all of that sluggish. The more weight you lose, the faster your metabolism. You notice that people that are really heavy, they really don't eat that much. And as you're getting older, your metabolism slows down. You're not eating that much. Elderly people normally don't eat as much as somebody that is super fit. Athletes eat all day long, 5,000 to 10,000 calories a day. I know athletes that eat 10,000 calories a day.
So what's the difference between the drops and the injections? Because you have both, right?
The drops just got banned by the FDA, and I am so glad I was actually part of that because it's not the real hormone. That's like saying I'm taking insulin drops. There's no such thing. If you want to do the real HCG protocol, you have to make sure you're getting a prescription from your doctor.
So safe and effective. It's approved by
Yes,
by the FDA?
Yes, absolutely, 100%. Diet clinics, you go to weight loss centers, you ask a doctor about the HCG protocol, and if they don't know anything about it, that's when you come to ageVital, and then we help the doctors. We're the ones that are medically supervising the patients and holding their hands, because it's a hand-holding process. And I give them supplements along with it, magnesium, because magnesium helps them to have bowel movements for constipation. Yeah, and a lot of the weight, it has to do with constipation. Probiotics, weight loss. Your weight is only as good as the amount of good bacteria you have in your stomach. So all of these play a factor, and these are my enzymes, my digestive enzymes. This is specifically enzymes to get rid of bad bacteria, parasites, fungus, mold, anything that doesn't belong in your stomach, and it gets rid of all of this toxicity.
Okay, so all of these things you use in conjunction.
In conjunction with it. It just enhances the HCG, but you will. Everybody loses anywhere. Minimum, women will lose about 35 pounds in 23 days. Now, how long does it take you to burn, say, 3,700 calories equals 1 pound? You lose that in 1 day. Now, how long does it take you to do that on a treadmill? So that's when women realize that, they're like, oh, I want to do that.
And your address again before we close?
1618 Main Street, Sarasota, Florida.
Okay, thank you again. We'll see you next week. I can't wait to see what we're going to talk about.
Thank you, Nancy.
Esther Holt with Star Financial joins us after the break. We'll be right back. It's never too late to start saving for your children and grandchildren. President of Star Financial Solutions, Esther Holt, joins us today to talk about the best practices. Nice to see you again, as always.
Good to be here again.
Thank you. Now, the best way to save for children, grandchildren, and what about if there's other children in your life that you want to save for? What can you do for them?
The two most popular ways are either UTMA or UGMA accounts or 529 plans for education.
Okay, what are those? What does that stand for?
The UTMA and UGMA accounts, or UTMA and UGMA, is Uniform Transfer to Minors or Uniform Gift to Minors. And that just depends on what state the child is living in. And then the 529 plan is specifically for saving for education.
Now, what if at some point the child doesn't go to college?
Well, that would be, the differences are the 529 plans are for college, and that money must be used for qualifying expenses, or up to $10,000 a year for primary and secondary school expenses as well. But it has to be qualified. They have to be going to a qualified school, and they have to be qualified expenses, which not everything is.
Okay.
The UTMA or UGMA accounts, those can be spent on anything for the benefit of the child. So that's a much larger net. If they don't go to college and they have a 529 plan, then those funds can be rolled to another child in that family, or it can be rolled to the owner of the account. It can be, so if you have one for your kid, it can roll back to you, and you can use it for qualifying education.
Okay. But it has to be used for education.
And qualifying expenses for education. So it's very specific. Also, there's no time limit. So let's say you had this for your son or daughter, and they don't go to college. So you can just keep it. It grows tax-free. And then they have kids, and their kids, so your grandkids can be named a beneficiary, and it can be used for them. Meanwhile, all this money has been growing tax-free.
Okay. All right. So so that's the differences. And again, because you don't know what's going to happen, which one of the other two would you suggest? Does that depend on the state?
It depends on the state. So some states have UTMAs and some states have UGMAs. The UGMA and UTMA accounts, depending on the state, what happens with that is it must be used for the benefit of the child. So if you don't use those funds, when the child turns either 21 or 18, or in some states like Florida, 25, then that money automatically becomes the property of the child. So a new account is made in their name, and it's theirs, and they can do whatever they want with it. Okay. So that's a big difference. The UGMA and UTMA accounts, they don't grow necessarily tax deferred, but it is taxed on the child's Social Security number. It's taxed to the child, and most children don't pay taxes. So for all intents and purposes, most of those accounts, there's no tax on it as it's growing either. Now, if that child is in a tax bracket, either the child or the parent will have to pay the tax on that, and you have to discuss that with your tax professional.
Okay. Now, is there any specific amount that you have to open it with or continue with as the time goes by?
Both of these types of accounts are subject to the gift tax rules, and so right now that's at $15,000 a year. That changes a lot. It's changed in the last few years. So you need to be aware of what that is. And then there's a higher amount if you want to do over a 5-year period, or a lifetime amount is, quite a bit. So that you need to check with your professional. But both of them you can put as much in as the gift tax laws provide. Okay.
So any other differences that somebody should be aware of that stand out to you?
Yeah, so the taxation on the UTMAs, the money goes in after tax. On the 529 plans, certain states, you can get a deduction for state taxes, not Florida and not all states. Okay. And pretty much if it's an UGMA or an UTMA account, that can, if the child doesn't want to go to college, you can buy them their first guitar and they can be a rock star. You can use it for a vacation. You can buy them clothing. It's whatever is for the benefit of the child. So it's a lot bigger net than the 529.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to add before we close today?
Yes.
All right.
Check with your tax professional before deciding which is best for you. All investing is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. Be sure to review any 529 plan offered by your home state or the child's home state first.
Awesome. Great. Thank you again for all of these insightful tips.
Thank you. We'll see you next week.
Okay, great. Thank you for joining us on Aging Gracefully on Suncoast FYI. To find more tips from local experts, you can view previous episodes and complete seasons at snntv.com under Programming. We'll be back next Saturday and Sunday at 7 p.m. with more tips on how you can live a happier and healthy life. Until then, have a wonderful week.